Hello, and welcome. Welcome on into the swear word. I'm your host, Brandon Swear, and hey, this is a podcast for the chili community by the chili community. Regardless of your spice tolerance, this is a place for you. Up tonight, we have a very amazing guest as well as a very fun game. So, episode 176 starts now. What's going on, Sway Nation? So glad to have everyone here. Whether you're tuning in on YouTube, Spotify, Rumble, and or Apple Podcasts, thank you so much for being here and continuing to make this podcast what it is. Up tonight, we have Rachel from Poeman and Friends Hot Sauce. We're going to be diving on into Poeman and Friends, how they got started, the origin behind the name, the overall branding, the inspiration behind the sauce, and what is the and friends part. So all of these questions we'll be diving on into, as well as a very fun game, a second iteration of Ranked and Reckless will be featured here tonight. So if you would have answered these questions any different than Rachel does, go ahead, let me know down below in the comments what your answers would have been to the overall Ranked and Reckless. So without further ado, let's go ahead and kick off tonight's podcast. Hey, Rachel, how's it going?
Pretty good. How are you?
Doing great. Glad to have you here. Had the pleasure of meeting y'all at the North Texas Hot Sauce Fest. And, excited to learn more about Poeman and Friends and also be able to share with others, what y'all have going on, a little bit of inspiration, so on and so forth. So honored to have you here.
Thank you. We are honored to be here. We're pretty new to the hot sauce scene in DFW. We've only been doing this maybe a little under 2 years, so it's pretty exciting to do something like this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's super cool to kind of see what y'all have going on. Obviously, being able to try your sauces out there at North Texas Hot Sauce Fest gave me a good insight too of just kind of something I always talk about is like you can kind of gauge the personality. You can kind of see the individual touch in each sauce. So to be able to kind of experience that, be on that journey, it was a lot of fun. The only, I guess, real set question, which is the icebreaker, is the what got you into the world of hot, and then what was that moment that y'all decided, let's just go full send on making some hot sauce?
Ooh, I mean, all three of us are from Texas. We like heat. I'm a huge fan of Cajun food, so anything spicy with a bunch of garlic in it is where I'm at. The guys in the group, they really like to burn their mouths off. So the hotter, the better for them. We all met as bartenders and we just like making things that taste good. So we kind of just went from there and we were like, hey, we can make hot sauce. Let's make hot sauce. And it just kind of snowballed from there.
I guess from that standpoint, do you grow yourself? How does that look? Are y'all sourcing locally?
No, so I don't have a green finger at all. The guys also, we're not good with that. So we've been mostly buying our peppers at HEB. We've talked to a couple local growers, so we're working on getting together with some of them to do a lot more like homegrown. Um, but yeah, I tried to grow peppers maybe like 10 years ago, and I think I'm the only person I know that could not get them to grow. So
Well, don't let that beat you down on that. It's not it's not something that is easily defined. There's a lot of while it is, very much a core fundamental, are so much other information out there that's just so distracting and convoluting that it's easy to just divert down the wrong path and have something go awry. I guess much like whenever you're, I guess to tie back with the bartending aspect, it's easy to just quickly mess up a drink super fast. It's kind of the same way with a plant. You just a little bit of imbalance and it's not right.
yeah, very true.
Well, I guess to quickly tie on to that as well, from the bartending aspect, have y'all been utilizing any of your sauces, say, in making any kind of either a mixed drink or anything of that nature?
So we do use our Blood of the Raven in a Bloody Mary mix. We don't actually sell the Bloody Mary mix yet. We're working on it. It's hard to get tomato juice to be more shelf stable without
Mhm.
adding a bunch of stuff to it. But yeah, we do that. We have a recipe for it. We also, aside from our hot sauces, we do cocktail infused coffees too. So kind of get the bartending stuff in on that side of the business.
Nice. Speaking my language there, I love coffee. I love obviously hot sauce. So to be able to kind of have that working in together is awesome. For everyone that is watching, this is you have land there. It's poemanaf.com, and you're going to be able to find exactly what we are discussing as well. So Blood of the Raven right here. And yeah, I noticed that there's also, I guess, how did the correlation translation from like, obviously you got the hot sauce, you have the coffee, and then there's some beard oils going on. I mean, I understand the method to the madness, but how did that kind of come to be?
I mean, they're pretty representative of the three of us that do the company. I'm definitely more the hot sauce person. My partner Billy is fully a caffeine fiend. He loves coffee. And then my husband Phil is the other partner in the business, and he has a beard that's like down to there. And he's allergic to a lot of stuff, so he was like, "Hey, like, can I be the and friends basically, and make beard oils and tattoo balms?" So
Yeah.
it's like a weird hodgepodge mixture of things, but if you know the three of us, it works perfectly.
Yeah, well, and it fits the vibe well as well for Fort Worth in general. I mean, that is just kind of like what if you go out and you were to just quickly pull, average, let's say midday. Everyone's kind of going from lunch, they're going, to back to the office, etc. If you were to just stop people in the street, you're gonna catch traction with one of three, if not all three things with them. So
Yeah.
definitely makes sense. And now from I guess from that approach, is that something that's been like a passion of his, to be able to do like the beard oils, etc. Reason why I ask is I know that was, the idea of beard maintenance really ramped up in, I guess, attraction, popularity, whatever you want to call it, just a few years ago, really kind of like taken off
Yeah.
more so.
Yeah, I think he'd been growing his beard out for like the past 10 years. And he'd tried so many different products, and they either smelled funny, or the smell didn't last, or they got all like gunky, or I would complain because it just smelled terrible to me.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, during COVID, for sure, it seemed like a lot more people, I guess, grew beards.
Hmm.
So there's definitely more of a market for it now. And he was like, well, maybe it's time I should try these things. So
No, that's it's very cool. Now, I guess from the standpoint, obviously North Texas Hot Sauce Fest, y'all were just featuring the hot sauce there, because
correct.
that's the overarching premise of the event. But
Mhm.
I guess from that initial event, whenever I met y'all, how did that end up actually playing out for y'all? Did you feel like it was a lot of I guess like great exposure aspect, or how did the event turn out for y'all?
The event was great for us. We met a lot more people from the hot sauce community that we'd heard of that were out there, but we just had never had the chance to meet them.
Hmm.
So that was really cool learning about the, I guess, problems other people have had making hot sauce or getting their hot sauces out there, which with the cottage laws changing constantly. Um, it definitely gave us a sense of community. Um, and it was kind of cool to just compare and see like where our hot sauces lined up with everybody else's. So it was definitely an overall really great experience for us.
Yeah, yeah. The camaraderie is definitely one of the main key focal points, I feel like, that isn't really talked about enough from that standpoint, because I guess it makes sense. Once you are inside of the community, you already know that. So there's not really a need to kind of continue to share that. But for, I guess, those, this is greatly helpful for those that are, maybe they're thinking about making like a spicy treat or whatever, and they're kind of confused, or maybe they're concerned or worried about how the path forward may look. The support is just insane throughout, nationwide, globally, locally, all over. Just being able to get tapped in. It's greatly beneficial. Has there been like a mentor or someone that's kind of like started to really help y'all more so kind of?
Um, I mean, really, to be honest, it would probably be the guys from Clowns on Fire, Greg and Ron. Um, they were actually bar regulars of ours like a decade ago when they started their hot sauce company. So we got to see how they kind of went through the process, and then they're really great guys. So we were able to actually just ask them directly a lot of the time, like, hey, this doesn't seem to be working. Hey, this pH isn't working for me. How do I change it? They've definitely been very much mentors for us.
Very nice. It's sad to see the recent post about, potentially looking at, I guess, exiting the industry. But yeah, very, very long run in the industry as a whole, huge impact, made tons of connections. And, they've definitely been and tried just about anything and everything as far as like markets, etc. From at least what I've
Yeah.
seen and what I've talked with them. So great
Oh, for
sounding
sure.
board.
They're yes men. So
Yeah. Great guys. They've been on as well in golly, what was that? Within maybe the first year, early on episodes.
nice.
Yeah. So had a great time. That was whenever I was in a different studio location and was able to more or less accommodate for more in-person guests. So
Mm.
that was a fun time for sure. Okay. Now, from your own personal enjoyment standpoint, I guess we can kind of talk about everyone here, but from a heat standpoint, where do you like to gravitate around on a daily use basis?
I'm a complete wimp. So if it's like a scale of 1 to 5, I'm at like a 1 or 2. Um, I focus more on flavor than heat. Like I like a little bit of burn to my food, but I don't want to feel it a couple hours later.
Yep. Yep.
So I'm kind of a wimp when it comes to that. The guys for sure like the spicier the better. I like to make super hot sauce, but I'm a complete wimp when it comes to eating it.
I guess that can always be a little bit of a challenge when you're like,
Yeah.
obviously sampling, trying, brainstorming in the kitchen. I guess for that process, there you going in with a very small amount and kind of just letting the palate completely reset before you go back in for any kind of iterations or changes.
Yeah, pretty much. It definitely helps. I found that if I have like a Topo Chico with some lemon in it, it really works as a palate cleanser for the spice. Um, but yeah, I'm making like a big vat of hot sauce, and just like sometimes I'm just dumping ghost peppers and habaneros in there, and then just bringing it to work and being like, try this, try this, try this. Tell me if it's too spicy.
Yeah. Well, hey, that's the best way to go about it. I've heard of some, very interesting exchanges of sampling and trying hot sauce from companies that have been getting going. Everything from like what would be, if you were to describe it to anyone without telling them the word hot sauce, would otherwise be viewed as a drug deal. And then I've heard everything from that all the way to like, just leaving it out at a party and having someone else try it. So it's always fun. Like musicians have the sound test that they'll run things through. They'll get their song where they think they want it, and then they'll either play it in the car while they're driving around, or whatever, to really hone in and see, okay, any kind of tweaks, any kind of changes. But for like the hot sauce side, it's always fun to learn about whether that be friend groups or just the uh, test subjects, if you will, that get to try everything and to see the overall response. Have you had anyone really blown away, whether that be by heat or just completely caught off guard by the flavor?
Yeah, so we also we use our bar guests as guinea pigs a lot. Um, and a lot of them are very willing participants. Some of them we've kind of snuck in, like our Red Death sauce is extremely spicy. And we definitely scared an older gentleman at one point who was not expecting it to be that hot. So he drank a lot of water after and a beer. He was fine. But for the most part, people are usually blown away by the flavors more so than the spice.
Yeah. Well, and that's the best way to approach it. Obviously, you can add heat, you can add spice to something, but it's harder to have something extremely hot and then go, okay, well, now let's build the flavor. Like, it doesn't work out that well. So having that layer
Yeah.
of depth, and I know like a lot of y'all have going on is much more of that savory, and then you have the dessert sauce. So I guess from that standpoint, I did want to ask because I remember trying it, and I remember kind of just reading a little bit about both sauces. And I was trying to visualize being back in front of y'all's table at North Texas Hot Sauce Fest there. And so do y'all have what I would consider more of like a nice table sauce, and then you have if I remember correctly, a dessert version, essentially, kind of almost hand in
Yeah.
hand of that same sauce.
Similar. So we have the first one we ever made was called the Telltale Heat, and it's kind of like a mole but without the peanuts, and we added berries. So it's like a Mexican vanilla chocolate, green chilies, ancho chilies, really low, like smooth, mild heat, but with a lot of coffee, chocolate, vanilla flavors to it. That's the one. I don't know if you remember, but we sample it on cheesecake a lot, just because it really pairs well with cheesecake.
I absolutely love the graphic art on it as well. It's very, it plays into your overall style. It plays into the leaning into, I guess, for those, I guess back up for those that are watching, listening. How did you come up with Poeman and Friends? Obviously, we heard the and Friends, but
So Poeman started with our partner Billy Blair. He's actually a descendant of. We tracked it back. It's Edgar Allan Poe's grandfather, David Poe. So he's related to the family, and being an actor and like a literary nerd, he just thought it was really cool. And he kind of low key looks like Edgar Allan Poe. So he was like, I want to do something as a like homage to this really cool dude in my family. So it kind of just started from there. We just started throwing out puns at work, like, oh, Telltale Heat, the Red Death. And then it just kind of went from there.
all right, all right, and I guess y'all obviously being in line with someone in a family line with someone that has that poet known for poetry. Is that something that is, I guess, something that is shared amongst all three of y'all, or is that something that's more one person's over another?
I would say it's probably more me than the guys. I They let me write little like Edgar Allan Poe style poems to describe all the products on the website. I was an English major, so I'm just kind of like a little weirdo nerd. So I like doing that. Um, the guys less so. They like it. I don't know if they would want to be responsible for writing any of them, but
Fair enough. Fair enough. The writing aspect. The second you said English major, I like my whole body just like shivers. It's always gosh, I don't know what it is. I guess I can't get out of my own way, and I try to overthink as I would be writing papers and stuff for school, and it was just it was my downfall. Like I had to, know that whole idea of procrastinating to the last minute. That was how I had to approach papers because anytime I took it from like the actual appropriate start date, um,
Mhm.
it would just be 6 or 7 different iterations of the first paragraph before I was
Oh
just like,
no.
I can't do this. Like, this isn't working.
Yeah. If you have too much time, you can never get anything done.
Yep, yep. And then it's like you just want to nitpick and make sure everything is proper, and it's, that idea of perfectionism is the enemy of, getting anything successfully done. Like, you just
Yeah.
eat away at your time in that manner. Okay. All right. All right. Well, now I guess from the inspirational standpoint for the sauces, I mean, we've kind of talked about, the test basis and really kind of an idea of the three sauces that you'll have, but where does the inspiration really drive from on these when you were creating them?
So two of them, the Red Death and the Blood of the Raven, are both literally just iterations of sauce that I'd been making at home for a long time for myself. Like I said, I really like Cajun food, so it's super heavy on the like roasted garlic, onions, tomato, green chilies, bell peppers. I'd just been making a very mild version of them for myself and at work, and people liked it, and they were like, "Hey, could you make this spicier?" So I just kind of fell into those two. They came super just organically for me. Um, Yeah, the other two, the chocolate one was actually Billy's idea. He was like, I want to do something weird. I was like, all right, I don't know what that means. And he was like, I want to put chocolate in hot sauce. I was like, all right, dude, let's put some stuff in a pot and see what happens. And it worked out, luckily.
Yeah.
It was kind of touch and go for a minute. There was a point in time where we were like, this shit tastes weird. But it ended up working out. It tastes good now.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it was always funny because, like, I guess that's a perfect example. This even just recently happened at a Super Bowl party that we were at, as I was, sitting there trying a few things, and we were trying to fine tune two different versions of the guacamole. Right, you have the family friendly version, everyone's good too, and then you have the one that you're ramping up in heat. And for me, obviously, I can't ramp that how I want it. So I try to find a nice middle ground, and it ended up turning into there was like I think 5 of us standing around this bowl of guacamole that we were not supposed to be quite eating yet, but all sampling so fast that it was also we
Mhm.
were eating through it faster than possible or needed. But yeah, same thing. It was one person goes, something seems a little bit off, or another person's like, maybe it needs a little bit more lime. Another person's like, "Oh, it needs more, peppers in it," and so on and so forth. But yeah, it's always that initial debate when you're trying to dial something in of like,
Mhm.
it's there. It's just like one thing seems to be a little bit off. Um, that that headache, that battle is so rewarding whenever you're done with that all, to be able to
Yeah,
get it fine tuned.
agreed. Yeah, it was a weird touch and go for a minute, but yeah, once we basically we figured out adding agave to it, brought out a lot of the flavors and
Yeah,
balanced it.
yeah,
So that was good when
nice,
we figured that one out.
very nice. Now, I guess with the coffee aspect, with the hot sauce, have y'all tried to say do a
A little.
roast using kind of like a slight coating of the hot sauce?
We're working on it. We've played around with just using straight capsaicin in the coffee beans, which was cool, but it wasn't flavorful,
Mm-hmm.
obviously. So we're kind of working on stuff with the coffee beans. It can take a couple weeks to a month or so to really get those flavors like soaked into the beans before roasting them. So we have some stuff we're working on. We just don't know if it's going to turn out or not yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that seems to be at least from what I've, seen in my messages for when I've talked to people out at events, that seems to be a common crossover that people are seeking out right now is like
Yeah.
coffee and spice together, whether that be a coffee bean type of like, inside of a hot sauce or just straight up spicy coffee. Obviously, the more higher demand is in the spicy coffee realm because most of us, me included, we'll make our coffees and then I'll put either tincture in there or I'll put a little bit of pepper powder in there and kind of give it a nice quick stir and find out where I'm staring at my coffee over here as I have one already going or had one already going. And yeah, it's just it's a great avenue at which I've seen a few people execute it well, but I guess really from the big like aerial view of this all 10,000-foot view, it's like you're ultimately just you're either running into the realm of, I guess, really dried peppers ground at the same time, and you're buying coffee grounds as opposed to the beans. And then I've seen a few where they'll actually take the fresh peppers, from what I was told, they'll take the fresh peppers, cut them, and then throw that in as it's roasting to kind of have the pepper express itself into the beans and kind of give a little bit of an exterior coating. So haven't really seen too many people nail it perfectly yet, though. So might be onto something there.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Well, the path forward, what y'all are looking at for the 2026? Are you trying to get into more markets? What does the, I guess, business trajectory look like?
Really, it's just getting into more markets. We're trying to break out of DFW a little bit. Our next market is actually going to be the end of February. We're doing Nosferatu Fest in Austin. So hopefully that goes really well and that'll open some doors down there. They have a lot of their own local hot sauces, so it's going to be a challenge. But I think we're up for the challenge. We'll see what happens. Other than that, really just we have our mainstay markets. We really love doing like Mutant Bazaar in Fort Worth, Sanger Farmers Market, Aubrey Farmers Market, Bishop Arts Bazaar. Other than that, just kind of doing what we're doing, trying to push out a little bit more product, more variety for sure.
Yeah. Well, at these, I guess these ones that are, I guess, less hot sauce focused,
Mm-hmm.
from a, because you see this all the time, regardless of the market. You have those that just quickly blow by, or they'll look in and be like, "Oh, too hot for me," without even really like even taking the time to stop.
Oh,
How's the engagement been from those that are not hot sauce focused?
usually pretty good. Honestly, we attract a lot more people with the Edgar Allan Poe imagery and the kind of like spooky ambiance of the booth. Then once they get there, they're like, "What is this? What is this? What is this?" And we have three mild sauces and one actually like burning sauce. So we usually can like attract the people that are wimps like I am. Um, if not, then we're like, "Hey, there's coffee. Oh, you have a beard. You need this." So it works out in our favor to kind of lean less towards the specifically hot sauce festival and do more just
Hmm.
like farmers markets.
Yeah, yeah, because the spread and being able to obviously have all your products there is, I can see where that would be much more appealing for even kind of just breaking the ice for those that might be a little bit timid to the hot sauce.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know, and nothing wrong with it. I know you've mentioned it a few times about like having the more flavor focused hot sauce because like ultimately, talking about this with so many other makers as well, they're extremely hot sauces have their place, and like I love them to death for that. At the same time, the mass majority, we'll call it safely, 70 to 80% of the overall market are seeking out just the flavor, right? I would say that that's the main thing. I mean, if you talk to someone that loves, extremely hot stuff, they're still going to appreciate the flavor of a nicely balanced sauce.
Hmm. Yeah,
So,
no, one thing we did learn at North Texas Hot Sauce Festival is heat is definitely king at hot sauce festivals. A lot of people were like, "Oh, this is fine, but it's boring." So even our hottest sauce could not even compare to a lot of what other people are doing with heat. So that was kind of eye opening.
Yeah. Well, is that, I guess, a little bit of I guess, a challenge, for lack of a better word, that's kind of like sparked inside of you to maybe think of different ways
I
of
think
inflicting pain?
so. Yeah, we're definitely working on some dry rubs right now that we've literally just dehydrated ghost peppers and Carolina Reapers, and we're just trying to mix them with a good amount of seasoning, but give you like a dry rub that burns your mouth while still tasting good. So trying to do some things that up the heat without really trying to directly compete with the great hot sauces that people are already doing that are very spicy.
Yeah. Well, and that's a perfect, once again, another perfect example of a expendable product that it will be used not only for the top dressing or adding to something that's already prepared, but that's also something that would be able to be utilized during the cooking process. I know not always does a hot sauce tend to lend itself very well to the actual cooking of a meal. Some
Mhm.
work better as marinades, some work better as glazes, etc. But to have that secondary layer of having the seasoning to go in there, or marinade or whatever the case may be, now you're getting, I guess, more coverage into each meal.
Yeah.
So that's got to be a lot of fun to test around and be able to watch as, I guess, really the traction builds on that, because uh, you hear a lot. I heard actually at North Texas Hot Sauce Fest from another hot sauce company that had also done recently a dry rub, and then they had great traction with that. Not only piquing interest, because new products tend to do that, but also having more people want to pick up that item plus hot sauce or two to work in
Mhm.
tandem with what they have going on for food.
Oh
So
yeah. Yeah, that's it definitely from a cooking standpoint helps the flavor, like building those layers of flavor on it when you can actually have corresponding flavors that work like that.
hmm yep. Well, I guess from an interest standpoint, obviously we know the coffee, we know the hot sauce, the beard oils. From a personal interest standpoint for y'all, what do you do to just like relax, y'all, like just be able to reset for the day? Because I mean, there's a lot of things going on. Definitely as a business owner, working at bars, all these different things, like all those can be very high stress.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, there's usually alcohol involved. Um, Also, Phil and Billy are both musicians, hence the stuff on the walls. I'm in Phil's studio right now because it's nicer in here. Myself, I like music too. I like listening to music. I write. I cook a lot. Um, Video games for sure. Um, yeah, just normal nerd stuff.
No, hey, it's all a part of getting to understand and to connect with those that are, putting out great products. It's another layer of building trust and affinity, really, for the overall brand. So it's always fun to see where people, find outlets and where just passions kind of derive. Yeah, a lot of what you just listed as well are interests that I have had. I've had a sunset, unfortunately, the video game thing quite a
Mhm.
few years ago, just because of it, just the kids and everyone. And now it's like my son doesn't really play video games anymore, so I don't have that excuse. My daughters are too young to really care, and they have their own things that they're doing. So, uh, yeah, yeah. Sad times. Are you
Aw.
more PC or console?
Console. I'm an Xbox girl, so
There we go. I like it. I I only had PlayStation until the end of PlayStation 2. And then after that, I never went back. And it was only because, like, you had Dreamcast, actually, which a lot of people don't know or pay attention to. But Dreamcast was actually the first console to go online. And
Oh,
so, and then right after that, it was PlayStation 2. But because PlayStation 2 was more popular, everyone attributed that as being the first one to go online. So, had both of those systems, loved them to death. But Dreamcast was just way too advanced for its time. I don't know if you remember that, but I was just blown away by how like the memory card. A lot of people, probably listening don't understand what that is, but having to store it on a removable hard drive. But theirs was so
mhm.
cool because it was like a Tamagotchi looking screen on the memory card, and it would just animate like what was going on. So
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I never had a Dreamcast. I was PC up until Halo came out, and then I bought an Xbox to play Halo.
yeah, yeah. Definitely the first one was a huge, huge success, and the amount
Yeah.
of like wild things that you could do because it was like LAN parties were like the biggest thing with Halo.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
so that was a lot of fun times.
Early
No,
2000s.
yeah, yeah. Well, life was simpler. It was, I actually talked about this on a recent podcast where it was like you had to disassociate it from life in a different way than you have to now. Like you have to intentionally do that now. Before it was
Mhm.
like you didn't document everything via cell phone every 2 seconds, or you shared some stuff online, but it was more like at the mall, blah blah blah. Like you're leaving stuff on AIM, you're leaving stuff on just messaging apps in that sense, as like a or what Zanga and all that other stuff back then.
Oh,
But you're
yeah.
you're leaving all this information there, but it wasn't the thing that told your story. It wasn't the thing that told the world who you were. It was kind of the introduction, but not quite
Yeah.
that. So it's interesting how we utilize, consume different things nowadays than say just early 2000s or before. You kind of have less of that uh, pull, less of that emotional drive to like recall things, I guess, if you will, because you're just so enamored with everything else going on in life at that point. So,
Oh, yeah.
but
Lots of distractions.
yeah, yeah. Now, so all right, we've kind of touched on a little bit about the hot sauce, the inspiration, the drive of really, I guess, the path forward, really as well as far as your sauces and future products. Where do you see yourself growing into for Poeman and Friends? Is this going to focus on deriving products that you feel are missing in the market, or are you going to an approach of like perfecting some things that are in that market?
Ooh. Um, I don't want to jinx it, but I mean, my end game is hopefully opening my own restaurant. So hopefully the next step would be like food truck, incorporating food so we can not only make like dry rubs, barbecue sauces, any other weird stuff we can think of along the way, but being able to utilize them in cooking so we can also serve the fresh food made with these products. That would be awesome. Other than that, I feel like it wouldn't be fair to try to perfect anything out there because there's so much competition and people do such an amazing job with what they are doing. But just trying to think out of the box, do some weird shit with it. Um, I don't know, stay weird, do
Yeah.
stuff, ingredients you wouldn't really expect, and hope for the best.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, I guess I'll throw a little bit of a idea into the hat as well for y'all to think about, because it's something that I tell everyone I would love to see more into the market of, which is like a spicy dessert powder of some sort. Because like it's just, I feel like a little bit of an undeveloped, untapped market, and I can also see if you do it in a way that you find something that's a nice sweet balance, but not too overly sweet, then very much true to what we were talking about earlier with, like, say, things like coffee or whatever. It doesn't have to
Yeah.
be just dessert. It kind of brings a little layer of depth to it.
Okay. Yeah, no, that could I'm actually having a lot of ideas of how to use that now, so
Yeah,
thank
and
you.
I feel like y'all might be best equipped to potentially tackle that because there's so many other like uh, adult beverage drinks, mixed drinks, all
Mm.
these different ways that you could incorporate that and find fun
Oh, yeah,
ways to elevate stuff. So it could be a lot of fun.
definitely. Yeah,
All
that might
right.
have to be a product now.
Well, if you need a guinea pig, you know where to find me.
Oh, hell,
I do have a very fun game planned as well. So let me do this. Let me go ahead and jump on over there, and I think that will transition very well to this next part of the conversation. All right, here we go. We have, well, this is really I guess the second time this is aired on here with Ranked in Reckless. This is a newer game to the overall lineup. The way this goes is, well, I'm sure you've probably seen some of these ranked tier lists that are out there. This
mm,
is that, but more focused on just having fun and being a little bit maybe reckless with some of these choices. Maybe you're just maybe you're shooting it straight on what your thoughts are. So being that more of the dark, the horror, the thriller, that vibe is kind of the overall embodiment of the brand. I decided to lean into that a little bit with some horror movie films, and these are, a list of the top 10 or what could be, potentially the top 10. And we're going to go ahead and rank these here. So you have the choices of S tier being the best and F tier being the worst. You can
okay.
have multiples on the same tier. They don't have to be individually on one or another. But yeah,
Mhm.
we'll walk through these here and see where they land. Um, all right, let's start with the a nice little softball here. I feel like, but The Shining. Where would you like to
Ooh.
put The Shining?
All right, you said S is like the best and F is the worst.
Yep. So S A
Hmm.
B C D E F.
Okay. I'm gonna give The Shining an A.
All right, like it. Get this all appropriately sized, and there we go. All right. What we will do next is Hereditary. I will actually say I have not seen this one, so I'm not
What?
familiar with it.
You haven't seen Hereditary?
No, I have not. There's
Uh,
two on here that I have not seen, and so
okay.
this is one.
Definitely don't watch Hereditary around your kids.
Okay.
Like, don't even have them in the house. It's a good movie, but it's incredibly messed up.
Okay.
I'm gonna give that a B.
All right. All
It was
right.
good. It had a really messed up, like mind melding twist at the end.
Hmm. Okay. All right. Now it has my interest peaked on that. I like movies that have that kind of last minute twist where you thought you knew everything and then finally they
Oh yeah,
unveil that and you kind of caught off guard. All right.
definitely.
Well, next up we have the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Ooh, classic. Um, super campy. Sorry, I have cats meowing in the background.
Oh, you're good.
Um, uh, I can have more than one on each tier, right?
Yep.
Or do they have to? Okay. Um, I'll do C. It's
Okay.
good, campy, but I've seen better.
Yep. Do you like the original or the remakes?
Ooh, original.
All right. I like it. Next up, we have, well, we'll go with Martyrs.
See, I haven't seen Martyrs.
That's another one I have not seen. So Martyrs, and I guess actually there's three. Inside, which is another one on here, but apparently Inside's a French film, and so I guess that kind of makes sense as to why I haven't seen it. But
Yeah, I haven't seen that one either.
I guess since we're talking about both, I'll leave both up here and see where you would like to put these. If you don't know, we can always just play it safe and put it somewhere in the middle and kind of give it the benefit of the doubt.
Right. Yeah, since I haven't seen them, I'll go by cover art.
Okay. Here, I'll make this
Um,
one bigger. I think this is the
oh,
conservative one for Martyrs. The other one was a little bit more blood splatter on the screen, but
okay.
yeah, this was the one that IMDb had. So,
Um, Based on that, I'll give it a C.
all right. And
Now you're right.
Inside.
Ooh. Let's give that one an A. It looks kind of creepy.
All right. Yeah, it's always one of those things. Talking about this the other day, actually, with another friend on just a product in general. You have this an issue, anyways, whenever you're traversing languages. But it's always interesting when companies, or in this case, movies, etc., that are not normally, or they're not done in English, right? They have
Mhm.
interesting choice for words at times, and I'm like, okay, is this just a direct translation, or are you just picking like a popular word? You'll see this often with like in Asia, where it'll just be like a clothing brand, and then it'll have like 3 or 4 English words on there that mean nothing
Yeah.
together, or they have no correlation, and it's like, what, why?
Oh yeah, I have a towel from Timu that says "Go Good Day."
A great find right there. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. Well, up next we have The Thing.
All right. I'm gonna give that one a D. It's been a while, but I wasn't a huge fan.
Yeah. Wasn't either. It also so far is pretty much the only one that kind of it fits the mold but doesn't fully fit the mold on that one.
Yeah.
So, all right. Up next, Sinister.
Ooh, that's one with the kids, right? And
Uh-huh.
like the footage. Okay. Honestly, I really liked that movie. I liked the sequels too, so I'm gonna give it an S.
All right. S
Good
tier. All right.
old Ethan Hawke, right?
We got the first one on the board. I don't remember who that let's see. Boom. All right. Well, The Autopsy of Jane Doe.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's S too. That movie was weird and great and super creepy.
Yeah. It from what I only watched it once. And I will admit I do get a bit distracted during horror movies. A lot of that transpired after deployment, and I had a as a every day growing up, you kind of know what real threats are versus like Hollywood threats, etc. But
Yeah.
after the military, horror movies became more of comedies, it felt like for me, than horror movies, in the sense of like the majority of them just being, it's like that would never transpire in real life. Like that's not
Yeah.
how you would act. But yes, that is definitely a good one there. All right. Here's one of the ones that was one of the first horror movies that I recall watching a lot of. Is Hellraiser. Where would you like to put
Okay.
Hellraiser?
Um, mm, do love me some Cinnabites. Let's do B.
All right.
It's kind of like silly if you rewatch it nowadays,
Oh
but
yeah.
it's still good.
That's one of those you just kind of have to leave in the memory bank as it, exists for you at
Mhm.
that point, right? There's quite a few movies like that that I watch back. Just don't have to be horror movies, but movies in general that I'll watch back, and I'm like, man, I remember when this was like cutting edge. This was the thing to
Oh
watch, and
yeah.
you're like, oh, it's a little bit cringe right now to watch this.
Hmm. When they like switch to claymation for a second, like in the original It when he's coming through the drain.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's just like the early CGI, the claymations, the very blatant balloon with fake blood splatter pop type. It's just like yeah, yeah. There's something to be said about that because you're taking a glimpse into how we got to where we are today.
Yeah.
But I guess really, I don't even know if you can say where we are today because so much is now AI generated or AI assisted in that sense. The true art, the true craft was a few, maybe a decade ago, kind of before it got
Yeah.
started getting changed around. And sure, it looks great, tells a better story, but I guess you start to have the trade off: human versus
Yeah.
machine. All right. Well, the audition. So
Ooh.
this one I
I did
don't remember, but I do remember. I was as I was watching the trailer, I was like, "This seems familiar," but I can't recall the storyline.
this one was like there's a secret society and elite like orchestral musicians, and this girl gets wronged and then her arm gets chopped off, and then there's a big twist at the end, and there's a lot of blood and gore at the very end of the movie. Up until that point I was really confused.
Mm-hmm.
um, the first hour for me was kind of boring, but then it got really good at the end, so I guess I'd give it like a D, maybe.
All right. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. And that makes sense because yeah, I remembered the ultimate, like, I guess, yeah, secret group, private, whatever you want to call it, private society,
Yeah.
secret society, and I remember that, but that's also probably as to why, very true to what you're saying, why I feel a little bit zoned out from it because it doesn't, like, I just remember little bits of the movie, not really
Yeah.
the whole thing in its entirety. So, okay, all right, pretty healthy list there. We have Sinister and the Autopsy of Jane Doe as S tier, The Shining and Inside as A tier. We have Hereditary and Hellraiser as B tier, C tier, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Martyrs, and then D tier is The Thing and Audition. All right, very nice. Nicely done. That is ranked and reckless. That is round two ever of ranked and reckless. So, uh, what did you think of the game?
I liked it. It was cool. No, I like it. Plus, it definitely was fitting. Like, we all really like horror movies, so I hope I
Nice.
did the boys proud.
Well, what would you think their? I guess put you on the spot here. What do you think their favorite horror movie is?
Ooh. Mm. Honestly, Phil's could be The Shining, but oh no, it's Event Horizon for sure. For Billy, it's probably something with werewolves. He's just weird like that.
Hey, what was it? Golly, I used to watch that a lot. It is rather cheesy, but it's also so good. Underworld with the
Oh,
lichen. Oh, that's such a
yeah, it's actually pretty good.
yeah. That was a movie that I guess was also a little bit ahead of its time. If you kind of look at the period of time that movies were coming out, and then this next part here is the nugget of knowledge. So I guess I will gear this nugget of knowledge towards individuals that are maybe they have this drive, they have this inspiration, they feel, but they kind of lack that confidence or nudge to get going. What would be your nugget of knowledge to those individuals to you know get out there and get going, or make the assessment that it's not right?
Um, just try it. If it's making hot sauce, try it at home. You don't have to have an audience. Have your family try it. When you're done, if it's not good, no one else needs to know about it. If it's making music, just go join a band, learn an instrument. You only live once, life is short. Make it work for you. Embarrassment is not the end of the world. We're all super awkward, weird little kids still inside anyway. So just embrace it and do what feels right.
Very well said. And yes, absolutely 100% agree there. Just pursue what you feel and what you want to do. And if it happens, it happens. I love it. I like it. I think that's the way forward for anyone that might be stuck and on the fence. And we've all been there before. So thank you for that nugget of knowledge. This next part here is the hot seat nomination. This is someone that you think would make a great guest for the show.
Ooh. Have you ever had the guys from Tot Sauce on?
I have, but however, they are due. We've been talking about having them back on, so they are due for coming back on.
Okay. Because, yeah, I've definitely seen them in a lot more markets lately. I ran into Nate at my day job not like more than a week ago. So that's the first one that comes to mind. They have a lot of new stuff coming out that seems pretty cool. I don't want to ruin it for him, but there's something involving garbage that was really cool. So,
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. All right. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about, and we will be setting up a time to have Nate on. We'll be talking about that new fun little avenue as well. Don't want to ruin that surprise. That is a good idea. I did not. I was about to say it, but I do not want to ruin that for a future one. So no, I appreciate that. I do have a few of his sauces that will be reviews dropping here soon. So what a perfect way to kind of bring him back into the fold on the podcast. So thank you for that nomination. This last part here is greatly beneficial for those that are just audio only listeners on Apple Podcasts. Where can they find you? How can they find you? And any kind of announcements that you want to make.
you can find us at poemanaf.com. Also, Poeman and Friends on Instagram and Facebook. We also have Phil's beard stuff on Instagram if you have a beard and you want stuff. Other than that, we're doing Nosferatu Fest in Austin. We'll be back at Mutant Bazaar in Fort Worth the first Wednesday of every month. Also, if you want to order online and you live locally, you can always pick it up at our day job, which is the Holy Grail Pub in Plano. Yeah, come say hi to us. We always have hot sauce there too, so you can try it in person if you want. Give us criticisms. Hopefully, they're not terrible.
Rachel, it has been absolute pleasure having you on the podcast, learning more about Poeman and Friends, and really just the overall inspiration, drive, and motivation. And I cannot wait to see the new products as they roll out, to continue to watch the passion, the addition, and potentially spicy coffee as well in the pipeline. So would love to have you back on and discuss how everything's been going.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much.
Rachel, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It has been an absolute pleasure. If you'd like to keep up with Poeman and Friends, I will have the direct links down below for their website as well as all the socials down below so you can keep up with them in all different ways. Check out their amazing hot sauces. They got some great beard oils and coffee and much, much more. And looking forward as those new products do start to roll out. Of course, they will be making those announcements on social media as well. So, hey, follow along, keep in touch, keep in track with what is going on between markets, products, and just everything they have going on. Also, new episodes drop every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Central with a periodic Thursday that will be rolling out here and there. So keep your eyes peeled for that as we continue to make these updates and adjustments. Hope that everyone is enjoying these. Also opening up sponsorship opportunities for the podcast. So if you're looking to sponsor the podcast, maybe have a featured segment inside the podcast, go ahead, reach out via socials or theswearword.net, and we'll get that started. Don't forget, we also have Swear Citizens. So if you're wanting to support the podcast in a non-company standpoint, you can jump on over there there and become a Swear citizen. Jump into the newsletter, get tapped in on all future updates as well. All that is on theswearword.net. Also, if you're on a platform that allows for a 5-star review, please go ahead and do so. That helps out greatly to get in front of the algorithm. It helps get in front of those individuals that are, maybe curious about the world of hot, all the way to those that are been living it, breathing it, and they are just absolutely loving it. Why not share that with others? So go ahead and share that around and leave that 5-star review. Thank you so much for all that y'all do. Also want to give a quick shout out for our current sponsors, podvision.io. If you're looking to grow your brand, start your brand, you've hit a bump in the road, you're trying to figure things out, highly recommend checking out podvision.io for all of those needs, as well as webdx.one. Maybe you have an online site, maybe you had a guy at one point, you lost contact with him. Highly recommend checking out webdx.one, because best of all, they get you looking great online while you get to focus on what you do best. I'm Brandon Swear, and from everything from the world of hot, this has been The Swear Word.